We're back. Thanks for staying with us. Joined now by Robert Linton. He's a senior portfolio manager with a company called Strattners. Robert, welcome back to the program.
Oh, thanks for having me, Don.
Well, tell us again what Strattners does.
Primarily, what we do is we assist companies by funding them through various methods. We like to take OTC companies to the next tiers of the NASDAQ and help expand their business with funding and instruments that they can use to grow as quickly as possible.
Well, it's kind of interesting because that's the one thing that all small companies have in common. They're in need of capital.
Yes, that definitely people need money to make things happen. It's kind of a crazy world right now, all these things going on. But it's also an exciting time. I mean, you got such crazy volatility, even in the traditional markets. It's going all over the place. Suddenly, these smaller cap OTC companies that are finding their place are even more attractive.
Of course, you've run public companies in the past. Are you able to draw on that experience to help your clients?
Oh, absolutely. There's all kinds of things that come up in a public company for how you're going to move forward. All the various regulations. It's a constantly changing place as well. So it really helps me when I can talk to the CEO of a company and find out what it is that they're trying to accomplish. And through my experience, I can certainly give them some insights that maybe they haven't thought about, and I can really relate to what it is they need to accomplish and assist them to get there.
What would you say are common mistakes that most CEOs make when seeking capital?
Thinking that the terms of the money aren't good enough, and then they end up not having the money, and then they think they're going to get it somewhere better, but then they don't, and then they're scrambling at the last minute and put themselves in a tough position. Sometimes terms may not be exactly what you want, but if it can get you there, then that's more important.
Well, what do you have to say about like convertible debt instruments, where they often referred to as a death spiral deal?
As far as those go, if you need it and it's a short-term thing, it can be very useful. And if you're accomplishing your goals, the convertible debt will convert fine, and the stock should be able to grow, assuming you're doing everything that you're supposed to with the company. You shouldn't take too much of it. I really don't think you should try to take it from multiple people, because when those conversions do come through, then they can kind of create a snowball effect, and people don't know what's going on when they're converting, and they get nervous and they just want to get out of their positions. So if you're going to do a convertible note, I highly recommend sticking with one group or two at the most.
Well, what kind of aspects, what criteria do you look for, so to speak, when targeting companies?
Well, first of all, it should be a company that is scalable, that can really benefit from funding. Also a company that we want to have someone that is capable of taking them to the NASDAQ relatively quickly. So, they should have those elements in place with the assets and the revenues, share structure that's conducive to being accepted by the NASDAQ or a higher exchange. And, companies that have a real opportunity to grow and can utilize funding in a long term.
Do you have favorite industries that you'd like to fund, or are you industry agnostic?
I would say industry agnostic, but I do gravitate towards certain things that I like, of course. I haven't there's not a lot of things to do with tennis out there right now, but I love anything to do with tennis. But it just has to be something that makes sense, that I can really understand the business. I think that's the primary thing. All kinds of things can excite me, though. Anything from technology to science and automotive. So there's all kinds of industries, and electric bikes, I think they're amazing.
What size deals is your comfort zone centered on right now?
You know, it's definitely in the over millions range. Don't really look too much for smaller deals because there's just not a lot of opportunity to make money in those. You know, the larger transactions, you don't have to make as much money, but it's over a period of time. So I would say something from the 2 million on up, but really more like 5 million and up are the types of raises we prefer to do.
Well, you work just as hard on a 250 deal as you do on a $2 million deal, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. So you spend just as much time. It makes more sense to do the bigger one if possible.
If people want to have more information, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, they can send me an email to my robert.strattners, robert.linton at Strattners email address. They can contact us on Strattners at the website as well. But definitely that would be the best way to do it. Maybe you can just put that up on the screen, the robert.linton at strattners.com.
We'll do that. Okay, once again, Robert Linton with Strattners, Senior Portfolio Manager. Thanks for the insight into the financing side of things, Robert. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Don, and have a happy 2022.